Hey guys, it's Jane. I just wanted to update you with some new finds since my last video. I know we're pretty much getting into the middle of May at this point, but I just wanted to update you with my April purchases and solds. I haven't gotten around to making a video because I've been really busy. May is crazy busy for work, so I've just been kind of dealing with that and also like some church stuff and everything like that. So I apologize for the delay. But so yeah, let's see. I went to a yard sale with my husband. I went to my consignment shop that I like to shop at. Not the one that I work with, but the one that I shop at in Deal. I did a couple of Goodwill trips and went to the little church thrift store that I go to as well. So, yeah, let's get started. The first thing that we did was the yard sale. So that was about the middle of May. I had seen a post on Facebook that they were going to be having a local yard sale in Edgewater. So we went ahead and did that. And I got some really neat things there for a good price. So we'll go over that first. For the yard sale, I spent $14 total. And I got a couple of things for me and a couple of things for resale. So the first couple of things aren't on the table here because they've already sold, which is pretty exciting. So I will go ahead and post pictures of those on the screen there for you. It was a little cup and saucer set that I got for $1 total. I didn't realize until after I purchased it that the cup didn't actually go with the saucer, but I went ahead and gave the teacup to one of the associate pastors at my church because she collects teacups, and then I went ahead and sold the saucer. And then the second thing that's not here is a pair of brass seagulls that I purchased at the yard sale for $1 total. And they were vintage, they weren't reproductions. So yeah, I bought those for $1 total, and I flipped those pretty quickly. I took them home, cleaned them up a little bit, snapped some photos, and posted those online. And I think within like 2 days they sold for $30. So that was pretty exciting. And then as far as the rest goes, at the yard sale, I went ahead and got this little necklace here. Let's see if I can get it close up there. Yeah, so it's got like this 1-cent piece with a little I don't know what kind of animal you'd call that. He kind of looks like a possum, but there's a possum on the one side, and then on the other side is Queen Elizabeth II. I'm trying to get it to focus for you. And then that's dated, I think, 1982. So that was kind of cool. And then it's got this little crest on it. So I got that for $2, and that's a value of about $25. So that was cool. The next thing I got, there was a really sweet lady that had a bunch of neat stuff on her table, but she had sold a lot of it, but there was 2 things in a bag that I noticed before I left, and it was these 2 little things. The first one was this garlic keeper. He is super fun. He's ceramic, and he didn't have any issues except for like a tiny little paint loss chip there on the corner. But yeah, he is a garlic man, and he's got like a little clothespin for a nose, or it's holding his nose shut so he doesn't have to smell the garlic, which I thought was really cute. And he's got this little hat. So I only paid $1 for that, and I put him up for 30. And then the second thing doesn't really have a lot of resale value, but I just had to get it because it was super cute. It's this like plastic cheese shaker, and he is a mouse. Some of these you can find in ceramic, and they're valued a little bit higher than this. But I just like the convenience of him because he's lightweight, he's not going to break, and yeah, I mean, how could you not love him? So I paid $1 for him as well, and just put him up for, I think, $10. I don't think he has a year on him or anything on the bottom. It says it's made in Hong Kong. And so, yeah, I just had to pick that up. That was super adorable. Another thing I bought for $1 was this Coca-Cola sign, because you've heard me talk about this before in many videos that I collect Coca-Cola decor for my kitchen. And recently we had our clock break. We have a Coca-Cola clock in the kitchen, but it broke. So I wanted something on that space on the wall. So I just saw this old bottle cap design sign. So yeah, he gave that to me for $1. Another thing that we found there for $1, again, is not here because my husband actually picked it out and he's giving it to his mother for Mother's Day. It is a Belique Irish cross. It was in the box. And if you've never heard of Belique before, it's Irish porcelain. And I've sold quite a few pieces of that in the past. You may have heard me speak about that or show you that in other videos. They do lots of things. They do vases, they do china, they do Christmas ornaments, all sorts of stuff. And it's really high quality, beautiful pieces. And usually most of the stuff looks the same. It's like a cream or an off-white porcelain, and then it's got 9 times out of 10, it's got little clovers in the design somehow, like incorporated into it. And then there's different markings and stamps that you can decipher how old the pieces are. So depending on the marking, you can tell whether it's an older piece or a newer piece. But yeah, he bought that for $1, and that was about a $25 value, so that was cool. Because it was in the box. If it wasn't in the box, it wouldn't have had that much value. It probably would have been closer to about $12 or $15 value, but it was pretty much brand new in the box, so that was exciting for him. And then I think the last piece that I got there was this tray, this crystal tray with this brass holder, which I'm going to pause and take the jewelry off of it so you can see it. Yeah, so this is gorgeous. I couldn't walk away looking at this. It does have a tiny little chip along the edge somewhere on here. Yeah, right here. It's got this tiny little chip right there on the edge. But, I mean, other than that, it's in perfect condition. And she gave it to me for $7, which was great. This is removable. It's pretty heavy crystal. And then you have the brass holder. It's got these little feet on the bottom there. And I just love the detail of that. So, that was great. And then, yeah, I mean, the way it's cut is just gorgeous. I feel like this would have originally been used as like a serving tray, for like a really fancy party or something like that. You would bring it out and have like maybe a cream and sugar set on there for coffee, or you would have used it for, you know, serving hors d'oeuvres or something like that. I personally would probably use it as I was just using it now, like a jewelry holder or something in the bedroom where I put like, you can put like makeup on it or something, just because of how pretty it is. So yeah, I paid $7 for that, and I have that online, I think for $45, I believe. And that's even with the little chip. If it hadn't had the chip, I probably would have valued it higher. So we'll see. I mean, I'm always willing to accept offers and stuff, so yeah, you kind of have to like keep that in mind when you're pricing things, is you want to price things to make room for negotiation, but at the same time, make it so that if somebody does send you an offer, you'll still be happy with the price that they offer you. You know what I mean? So you have to kind of like think about that when you're pricing your items. Okay, so the next place was that same day after we went to the yard sale. We stopped over to the little church thrift store in Edgewater because it was like literally right around the corner, and they were still open. So we went ahead and checked them out, and we got a few things there. So the first thing I found there was this wind chime, which it has a little bit of repairs that need done to it, but I couldn't leave it behind for how pretty it was. It's this gorgeous frog and pond scene. I'm not exactly sure the material that this is made out of. It kind of feels like slate, if I wanted to say that. I mean, because it's got weight to it, you know? It's not like it's not cheap ceramic or anything. So yeah, and it's meant to be outdoors, and it's still got its little holder there. The only thing is it's missing the wind chimes, because it looks like the strings that the wind chimes were attached to were a material that's not really for outdoors. So what I'm probably going to do is buy like a cheap little wind chime from Dollar Tree or something, and then just take these old strings off and replace them and put the new chimes on. But yeah, it doesn't have any chips or breaks or anything, and I just thought that was really pretty. Because there's definitely some frog people out there. My sister's one of them. She loves frogs. So yeah, once I repair that, that'll be about a $20 to $25 value. And, oh yeah, so the Joy Thrift trip, I believe total I paid $8. And if you remember, every time I go there, most of the time I spend less than $10. So their prices are really great. So yeah, so that was the first thing. Another little thing I got for me there was this little Coca-Cola bottle set in the little holder. It's like a miniature. I paid 50 cents for that, and I see them online selling for about $15 or $16, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, that's just for me, because again, Coca-Cola theme. So yeah, I just have that in my kitchen, but I thought that was really cute. The next thing I saw was this, and it was kind of like sitting up like that, and no one had touched it or bought it or anything, but I recognized this pattern on the outside as being Longaberger, and there are Longaberger collectors out there, Longaberger pottery. They do pottery, and they do, they're mainly known for their baskets. So they do baskets that have these little cloth liners in them, and this pattern is a common pattern that they have on there. I don't necessarily know that this goes with these, but they do fit nicely in there. But this would be considered a liner that you would put in a basket. But so yeah, I just listed those together since they do go well together. But you can see this is a salt and pepper shaker set. So it's got the S and the P on it. And they're blue. A lot of them come in red, but I like the blue. So yeah, I paid $1 for that, and I listed those up for I think $25. So those were cool. And let's see. Okay, and then another thing I found there, which this is definitely for resale because this is not my style, but I couldn't leave them there because they were just super fun, are these candle holders. They're like this bronze material, and they've got these beads on them, which I think are plastic, because when I touch them, they're not cold to the touch, which that's how you can usually tell if beads are glass or plastic. And I think... Oh, wait. No, it is. It is kind of cold. I don't know. Maybe they are glass. But anyway, yeah, they're super fun. I like the detailing on there, on the feet. And they're like palm trees on the top. Just super fun. Like if you have like a tiki party or something, or just like a fancy summer party and you want to have something summertime themed that's a little bit more fancy, that would be cool. I don't really know the value of these. I see similar ones listed online for $50 to $75. So I went ahead and threw mine up there, I believe, for $50. So we'll see. But yeah, I think I paid like $3 total for those. So that was super cool. And they don't have any kind of like mark on them to know who made them. So yeah, and they're pretty heavy. You know, they've got a substantial weight to them. So we'll see how that does. Super fun. And then the last thing was, again, sorry, I keep having to say this, but the last thing I purchased there has already sold. It was a little blue glass sun catcher with an iris flower on it. So I'll post that picture as well. I paid $1 for that, I believe, and sold that for $12. So that was cool. Alright, the next little bit of things was from a couple of Goodwill trips that I took this month, or technically last month. And I got a few things, one of which was pretty exciting. That has already sold as well. I'll talk about that in a second. This vase was really cool. I love the design on it. I love the shape of it. And like, look how skinny it is when I turn it. That's just fun. Let's see. It's made in Portugal. So that was cool as well. And I just thought that was like a nice springy, summery, floral theme. I want to say I paid $8 for that. Yeah. I paid $8 for that. I went ahead and listed it up for $38. So that was fun. The next thing from Goodwill was this beautiful wooden nativity. I paid $9 for that. And this nativity was suffering, you guys. Like, it was completely, the wood was dried out. Just dry as a bone. It was so dry that it looked dusty. If you've ever seen that, like if you've ever seen wooden pieces that are so dry, they just look, they don't have like their natural wood color anymore. They're just so like bland. And so I really wanted to rescue it and bring it home and restore it back to its original condition, which I did. You've seen before... you've seen me restore pieces with wood oil. I have a bottle of food grade wood oil that I use to restore pieces. I bought the food grade one because a lot of times when I do this, I use it with wooden bowls or utensils that people will tend to use with food. So I wanted to make sure that what I bought would be safe for food use. But you can use it on anything that's wood, and it comes out great. So I took it home. I cleaned it off initially, just kind of like brushing away any kind of debris or dust. And then took some cotton balls and just started working away at the wood. And then I eventually just started to use my hands. Sometimes that's easier rather than having to sit there and like brush it with a cotton ball. And plus some of the areas in the wood, like the grain is so deep that it kept catching the cotton into the wood. So I was like, you know, it'll just be easier if I put the oil on my hands and just rub it with my fingers. But yeah, now it came out really beautifully. It probably could use a second coat of oil, but I think I'm just going to leave well enough alone. Just because if you use too much oil and then you go to sell it, you know, the person could be touching it and say like, oh, you know, and get the oil on their hands. So I think I'll just leave it the way it is now. But you can see just how beautiful it is and the wood grain and everything. It's a pretty substantial piece. I mean, it's solid. And it's about 14 inches long. And it's got Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus. And a little donkey back here and a sheep. So yeah, and the little star on top. So I paid $9 for that. And I believe I have it listed up right now for, I want to say $60. So similar ones like this will sell around that price during Christmas time. I debated on waiting until Christmas to list it, but I mean, people buy this kind of stuff all year round, and I wanted to go ahead and get it listed just because it is a larger piece, so I don't want it to be sitting on my inventory shelves too long. So hopefully somebody will buy it before then, and if not, I'm sure it'll sell for the holidays. And then, let's see. Oh, I found this little angel over here. I don't know. You remember I bought this this frame with the angels, and then I found this the next time I went to Goodwill. One of these little angels for like $1. So this style is coming back. This was really popular in the 90s, and I feel like it's coming back. So I went ahead and rescued that little guy and just listed him with the vase, hoping that whoever bought that would like those together. Okay, so then the other piece I told you about that has already sold was an infrared printer, an HP infrared printer that was in the box. It's a handheld printer, and I don't usually buy things like that. But I saw it sitting on the table at Goodwill, and usually when something is like in the box, I'm drawn to it anyway because so many things sell well when they're brand new in the box, especially if they're an older piece. And this definitely was older. It looked like it was from the 90s. And so I picked it up. Something told me to pick it up and check comps on it, and I'm really glad that I did. So I'll post a picture for you up here so you can see it, but it's an HP 82240B infrared printer. And it was brand new in the box. It had the styrofoam like to protect it. It was inside, nestled safely inside. It had its extra roll of paper in there. It really honestly looked like it hadn't even been used. Like the extra paper was in there, and then even the manual was in there. So I snapped a photo and pulled it up, and the comps blew me away. So I paid $8, and then within 2 days of listing it, I sold it on eBay for $118. So that was great. So yeah, again, I really don't pick up electronics, but that's definitely a niche. If you wanted to get into it, like, electronics is definitely a niche that ends up being pretty profitable. You just have to be careful to make sure that if you do, you make sure that the things work. Goodwill a lot of times has like outlets that you can plug stuff into to make sure they turn on, and you can kind of play around with it to see if it works. With this printer, I did take a chance because it was battery operated. But I did check the battery compartment before I left, and unfortunately somebody had left the batteries in it, but the batteries that were inside weren't there long enough to have corroded, or maybe they were in there for a while, but luckily they just didn't corrode. Because I have purchased things before where the battery compartment was corroded, which you can fix depending on how bad the corrosion is. And you know, I can talk about that in another video at some time. If you're interested, I can talk to you about how to fix a corroded battery compartment. But yeah, thankfully it wasn't, and so I sent that off for $118. So that was great. Okay, so another separate day, I went down to Galesville / Deal area, to go to a community-wide yard sale that they were having. My husband went on a trip for our church, and so I was here on a Saturday. I didn't really have much to do, so I figured I would check out that yard sale. Unfortunately, by the time I got there wasn't much left to look at. I think the yard sale was from like 8 a.m. until like 1, and I was dealing with stuff here before I left, and I ended up leaving later than I expected to. If you want to get good stuff at yard sales, you really need to be prepared to like be there when it starts, because yard sale people are insane. Like, they're just, I mean, they are there like right when it is, or a lot of times there's early bird people that will show up earlier to snag the good stuff. So yeah, I got there like, I think maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours after it started, and there just wasn't really much to look at. So I instead, because I was already in the area, I went over to Spice, which is a shop that I've spoken about before. I think I talked about this in my last video. It's a little shop down there, run by a woman named Donna, and she's really sweet. So I went to her shop first, and then I stopped over at the Second Wind Consignments to pick up a couple of items that I had purchased online. They do online sales on Facebook. They're local sales. They don't ship. But when I see their Facebook page, I'll keep an eye out for things that I might like. And then occasionally I'll buy some stuff from them. So I had some stuff to pick up there anyway. So I figured, well, you know, while I'm down here, I might as well shop and, you know, see Donna and all that stuff. So the trip to see Donna was pretty exciting. Initially, I didn't know how exciting it was until I got home and did a little bit of research on some of the things I purchased from her. But mainly, what I got there was this jewelry and then this lamp. So I paid, I want to say I paid like $22 or $24 with her while I was there. In addition to this stuff, she also had a little fold-out chair that you can use, you know, if you're going to a concert, or if you know you're going to be somewhere where you might need a seat. And that was only $10, and I've been looking for something similar, so that was a great deal. So that was part of my $24 total. So that's going to be for me. But yeah, essentially everything else then was $14 that I purchased. So yeah, she had some jewelry over there that I thought was cool. This little fake pearl necklace I just bought for me because I don't have anything like this, and sometimes I think pearls would look nice with an outfit, but I don't bother with real pearls. And then the rest of this was for resale. This one I already talked about because that was at the yard sale. Oh, and then this one I'm kind of debating whether or not I want to keep it. So this one was one of the first things that caught my eye. It's a little choker necklace, and it's got this really neat, like, splatterware porcelain piece on it. And I just thought that was super cool. The choker length was a little bit too short for me. So I actually took one of my current necklaces that I have, and I took a piece of that off and just used pliers to take it off, and then I put it on to here to use as like an extender. So that worked out great. So, but yeah, I just really like the design of that and the color. Or I think it's, yeah, it is ceramic. Yeah, so it's just like this ceramic bead with the splatterware on it. So that was cool. And then these next necklaces I got just because they reminded me of like the old 50s and 60s style necklaces that I call gumball necklaces. So there's this one with like the blue and pink gumballs. And then this one, which I have to do a little bit more research to figure out what this is made of. The pink one I could probably sell for about $15 to $20. This one, though, I've seen some online listed pretty high, depending on the material. So some of these are made of black coral. And if this is black coral, I could probably sell this for over $100. But I'm really not sure the material. I mean, I kind of want to say plastic. I kind of want to say, you know, something like that. But I'm not going to list it until I'm absolutely sure, because I don't want to post it and then sell myself short. But either way, I thought that was cool. Another thing I found there was this Mexican silver cuff. And it's got this little inlaid piece here. It kind of looks like an angel to me. Or even like a clover. But I thought that was really cool. It's got the stamp on the back. It says Mexico. Hold on. Yeah. Mexico. And yeah, it's definitely like alpaca silver. So I'll probably list that for about $15. And then this little ring, which I just liked it because this looks like the green and brown turquoise, but I don't think it's real. I think it's just, you know, a fake representation of that. But it's an adjustable ring, so I thought that was neat. And then this one was definitely a sleeper, because I just picked this up because it reminded me of the Wade Whimsy figurines. And if you don't know what those are, I can post a picture of them. But it has that same kind of style to Wade Whimsy, and he's a little whale. I just bought it for that. Like, I just bought it because I thought it was cool and it reminded me of Wade Whimsy. But then when I purchased it, Donna said, "Oh, you know that's like the Free Willy necklace, right?" And I was like, "What?" And I wasn't sure what she was talking about. I mean, I know the movie Free Willy, but I wasn't sure what she meant. So I went ahead and did some research. And this apparently is a promo necklace that came with the Free Willy 2 VHS. So the second Free Willy movie, they attached this to the VHS as like a little gift with purchase. And apparently these sell for like $50. So that was really surprising to me. Because I only paid like a couple of bucks. So that was really exciting. So yeah, I went ahead and posted that up for $50. So yeah, that was cool. And then the last thing I'm going to show you is the most exciting from her trip. And let me turn it on for you so you see what it looks like. Okay, so this lamp, I was looking at it while I was there. I was talking to Donna, looking around, all that kind of stuff, and I was kind of debating whether or not I wanted to purchase this because I have a lot of inventory. I don't have as much space right now. And I have a lot of lamps. So I wasn't sure, like, okay, if I buy this, where am I going to put it, kind of thing, like, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, Donna, said it was only $5. And so when she told me that, I was like, okay, well, I have to buy this. Like, I'm not going to just leave it here for $5, right? So it didn't come with the shade or the finial. I bought that separately. But she gave me a harp for it. And mainly I loved it because of the owl. You guys know I love owl stuff. And this is just gorgeous. I've never seen a lamp like this before. So, yeah, and then when I looked at it closer, I realized it had even, like, other little things that I love on it. So let me turn it for you so you can see. So it's got, like, this little field mouse down here, and some mushrooms, and this butterfly. And then on the other side, it's got another butterfly and like a sunflower and stuff. But yeah, that was super cool for $5. And then recently I went to Goodwill specifically to look for a shade for the lamp, and I found the perfect shade for it. So it was this old shade here. I paid $2 for that. It was coming apart at the back here on this seam, which you can kind of see like here too. But I went ahead and took some E6000 adhesive and put that back together. And then, you know, cleaned it up with, it was kind of dusty, so I took like a lint roller and lint rolled it, and it came out great. And then I went to my hardware store to get a shade riser and a finial, because usually I don't pay full price for finials. I'll usually like find a cheap lamp at Goodwill or something that has a finial on it, because that ends up actually being cheaper than buying a finial by itself at the store. So usually I'll just buy lamps to take the lamp parts from them if I need them. But Goodwill didn't have any lamps with finials on it that I liked, and I just figured I would pay for one. It wasn't a big deal. So I got a shade riser, because this shade is slightly bigger than what I wanted, but not big enough to not use it. So I got the shade riser to kind of lift it up a little bit, because originally you couldn't really see the top of this. So the shade riser really helps with that. And then they had this little glass finial that I thought would go well. So yeah, with the riser, the finial, the shade, and the lamp, I pretty much have $20 into this, which is great, because that's a good deal for a lamp anyway. But then the really exciting part came later, because after I went to Spice, that's when I went to Second Wind Consignments to pick up my items. And the woman there actually rewires lamps. She rewired my Stangl lamp that I showed you in a previous video. So I figured while I was over there, I would bring this lamp in to see if it needed to be rewired, because the plug on it looked a little bit older to me, so I was kind of nervous about it. So I brought it in. I talked to her about it, and she said, well, why do you think you need to rewire this? And I'm like, well, you know, the plug is just not something I'm used to seeing, and it just kind of looks older. I'll actually show you. Hold on. But anyway, this is the plug that it has, which is just kind of a funky shape that I'm not used to seeing, so I assumed it was pretty old. And it had like this cardboard on it that looked really weird to me. But But anyway, she looked at the plug and said, well, yeah, it's an older style, but there's honestly nothing wrong with the plug. She was explaining, you really want to rewire lamps if the casing around the wiring feels brittle, and she was tugging on it and she was feeling it with her fingers. She's like, this feels fine. And she looked at the underside of it. She said, there's nothing exposed. It's not falling apart. And she said the cardboard thing that you're looking at is like an insulator for the plug. So that's just the way it's supposed to be. So she said, I don't think you need to rewire this. So I said, oh, okay, great. And then she said, where did you get that lamp, by the way? It's really beautiful. And I said, yeah, I was just over to see Donna at Spice, and I got it for her from $5. And she kind of paused and was like, wow, and she's like, well, do you know how they made lamps like this? And I said, no. And so she explained to me, this is a reverse decoupage lamp. They would take glass hurricanes, if you've ever seen a hurricane lamp, which I'll post a picture of that so you see what I'm talking about. Just a clear glass hurricane. And they would then choose a design to decoupage on the inside, and they would put the design on the inside of the glass. So when you touch it, it's not, you're not going to scratch it off. You're not going to damage the design because it's on the inside. And then they would put, the lamp parts in there to make a lamp. So I thought that was really interesting. I appreciated the information and all of that. And then went on about my day. So then when I came home and I did some research, I realized just how cool this lamp is, because online right now, if you search reverse decoupage lamps on eBay and Etsy and everywhere else, you find that most of them they're asking at least $300 for them, which was shocking to me, the fact that I bought this for $5. And so I'm thinking that the reason why they're priced so high is because these lamps were custom made. The person would go, they would get the hurricane, they would make it into a lamp, and they would hand pick the design that would go on the inside. These were not mass-produced lamps. There's also some that are made from a specific designer, that are also custom made. So if you reached out to the designer and said, hey, I would like these lamps, to have this design, and they would create them for you. And those are also quite expensive. So I think that's the reason why they're being priced so high, because essentially what I have here is a one-of-a-kind lamp, which is really cool. Am I going to sell it? Probably not. I'm probably going to hold on to this just because I love it so much, and I did take the trouble to find it a shade and find it a finial and all of that. But yeah, that was super exciting. And so after that is when I went over, like I said, so after that, that's when I went over to Second Wind to pick up my stuff, and she spoke to me about the lamp and everything. And so I got a couple of things there. The first thing being this little amber glass vase. I paid $18 for that, and I just love the design, and it's really heavy. It's really heavy, thick quality glass, with a nice smooth base on there. I don't know the maker. I've seen similar bottles in the same design from an Italian glassmaker called Empoli. So if it is Empoli, it's fairly valuable, but because of the fact that the design is kind of wonky in some areas, and it's not as even, I'm not sure that it is Empoli glass. But either way, it's gorgeous. And then the second thing I bought there was really exciting. I paid $28 for this picture that I liked, that I thought would just look pretty in our bedroom, because we have kind of like maroon or burgundy shaded sheets, and carnations are my birth flower, and it's a painting of carnations. So hold on, I'm going to show it to you. Okay, so this is the painting. I paid $28 for this, and initially when I bought it and when they listed it, they didn't list it as a painting. They just said picture, and so I assumed that I was buying a print. But I took it home, I hung it up, and I came to realize quite quickly that this is a real painting. So I just thought that was cool. Like, wow, oh, a real painting of flowers in this beautiful frame for $28. You can't beat that, right? And so the next exciting thing was this. Okay, so initially after I took it home and hung it up, I was looking for some type of a signature to see who this was painted by. And so you can see, like, usually when somebody paints a painting, they sign their name at the bottom, and I didn't see anything. And I'm venturing to guess that the consignment owners didn't see anything either, because when I'm showing you this, you don't see a signature there, right? But I have a jeweler's loupe with a little light on it, so I figured I would use that to see, just out of curiosity, if a signature would show up. And I don't know if it's showing it to you. There we go. So there's the first letter of the first name. And then, let me see if I light it underneath. Yep, you can kind of see it right there. There's the signature of the artist. So that was really exciting to find that it was signed. And then I looked online to do a little bit of research to find out who this painting is made by. Sorry, hold on, I'm turning my jeweler's light off. Hold on. Okay, so in doing some research online, I came to find that this is a painting from an artist named John Mora, and he's still active. He still does paintings. He has a website with a lot of his paintings on there. This painting was not listed on there, but it definitely is his signature, and I'll post a couple pictures of some examples on there so you can see. But so I reached out to him and just basically explained, like, hey, you know, I believe I've recently acquired one of your paintings, and I would love it if you could contact me, and I can, you know, send you some photos of the painting, and you can verify whether or not it's your work. And if so, if you could tell me when it was painted, or what it's called, or what the value might be. So it's pretty exciting, because on his website, paintings of this size are valued anywhere from $6,000 to $13,000. If I was to resell this, would I get that amount of money? Probably not. But still, the fact that this is a real painting signed by the artist and is, you know, probably worth upwards of $1,000, you can't beat that, you know, given the fact that I purchased it for $28. So again, I feel bad for the consigners, because I don't really think that they realized what they had when they sold this, just because the signature was not really visible until you put, you know, that jeweler's light on it. And also, whoever brought it to the consignment shop either didn't realize what they had, or figured that they, you know, that the consigners would know what it was and value it appropriately. So yeah, but either way, it's exciting for me. So that was cool. So that is hanging above my bed right now. I just really loved it. I love the shadowing, and the contrast and the light with the flowers, and the fact that it came in this beautiful frame is just gorgeous. So definitely stay tuned with me on that. I'm still waiting to hear back from the artist. So as soon as I know some information, I will definitely update you guys. Okay, the last couple of things aren't as exciting as the painting, but I still wanted to show you because they're still pretty awesome. The first one, I'm just going to go ahead and post a picture here because it's kind of a bigger item and I don't feel like moving it from where it is. But a neighbor of mine in the apartment left out a couple of these chairs for free. They had a free sign on them. Someone else had taken the second chair, but then my husband, because I hadn't seen them, my husband was the first one to see them, and so he pointed it out to me. He's like, hey, there's a chair out here you might want to take a look at. And I said, oh, okay. And so he explained, like, there were two, but I think another person got the first one, and that was a few hours ago, so I don't think they were coming back for the second one. But he's like, yeah, go check it out or whatever. So I looked at it and definitely determined that it was worth saving. So I'll post a picture here, and it's gorgeous. It's a dining chair. It's mid-century. It's walnut, and it has a cane back on it. The upholstery is clean. The chair is sturdy. There's no significant like marks on it or anything. There's a little bit of wear to the armrests, like from where people would touch the chair. But other than that, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. So I couldn't just let that sit there. Yeah, so that, I waited, again, my husband said, whoever got the first one, that was hours ago, because I wanted to make sure whoever got it wasn't going to come back for the second one, because then that would have been kind of crappy of me to swipe it from underneath of them. So yeah, I waited for a little bit, and then no one came to get the second, so I figured I would snatch it up. So I have that listed locally for, I believe, I started at $199, and I've kind of been lowering the price gradually because it is, a bigger piece, so I definitely want it out of here. But so I think now I'm down to $175 that I'm asking. But in a whole set, you can get, like, I've seen listings for a set with these chairs, with a table and stuff for, like, thousands of dollars for the entire set. So I just kind of did a little bit of math there and figured out the value, per chair. And I just wanted to ask a fair price. So yeah, I think right now we're up down to $175, and I'm just going to keep kind of lowering the price to see if anybody snags it. And then if not, I'm going to bring it to my local consignment shop that I work with, because they have taken larger pieces from me, and I've been able to recoup some of the money that I either spent on the piece, or in this case, because I got the chair for free, whatever money comes out of that is gravy. So yeah, that was exciting. And then, I did end up selling that Hager vase. In a previous video, you remember me showing you that, black lava glaze vase that I found for $30 on Facebook Marketplace. It was huge. It was gorgeous. I didn't have room for it here. If I did, I probably would have kept it, but I didn't have room for it. So I figured, you know what? At worst case scenario, I'm just going to bring it to the consignment shop and see what they can do. And that was a bit of a lesson for me, honestly. I was able to get that sold. They initially listed it, for sale for $100. I saw, based on the receipt of sales when I went to pick up my money, they initially listed it for $100, which they could have probably listed it for more, but they're trying to pander to the local market, so you got to kind of keep that in mind as well. So they initially listed it for $100, and then it kind of went down in price, And then I think they ended up selling it for, I want to say like $65 or $70. And the person who brings their items to the consignment shop, they get 40% of whatever the consignor sells an item for. So essentially I walked away with the same amount of money that I paid for the vase. So that was a little bit of a lesson. If I had listed it online, I might have been able to make, a good amount of money on it. But A, it was way too huge, and B, the shipping would have been astronomical, and I wasn't about to try to deal with packing that and shipping that. So, but anyway, yeah, I mean, no harm, no foul. I walked away with the same amount of money that I put into it, so it's not like I lost money on it. But at the same time, I think I'm going to be a little bit more selective and careful when I pick things to, bring to the consignment shop. So that is essentially why I was comfortable enough with the chair, because I know, I didn't put any money into the chair, so whatever comes out of that is going to be fine. And then the other piece that I got for free was this gorgeous Italian glass beverage dispenser. It's 2 gallons. It holds 2 gallons, and I'm not going to pick it up, but it does say Italy on the bottom. And it's this beautiful, blue-green glass that's typical of Italy. And then the only thing is that the rubber stopper is kind of dried out, so that's going to have to be replaced. But so on eBay, people are asking upwards of $100 for these. But again, I'm not about to ship that, so I went ahead and listed it locally for $45. And again, if nobody bites, I'm going to see if my consignment shop will take it. But yeah, that was just kind of sitting there for free, and I was like, hey, maybe I'll use it this summer. Maybe put some, sweet tea in it or something, and then after that, if I don't want it anymore, I'm just going to go ahead and list it. So I went ahead and threw it up there, and then, and we'll see. So that was really cool. And yeah, now on to the last bit of our video, and then after I show you the last thing, I'll go ahead and put up the solds. Just kidding. I forgot about these little pieces that were behind the beverage dispenser, so I'll go over those real quick. Most of this was from Goodwill, and then a couple pieces were from the thrift shop. But these are seasonal specific items, which is why I didn't talk about them originally. So this one I got from the Joy Thrift place. It's just this little Christmas tree wine plug. And then this little candle holder still has the candle in it, and it's from Yankee Candle. And it's almost got this Polish pottery design on it, which is what I really liked about it. And this little acorn top. So I'll sell that during the fall. And then same with this beautiful fox plate. It's still even got the holder on there. I think that would be a really nice piece for fall. Or maybe even spring. I might even list it for spring. And then the last thing was really cool. These I got for 50 cents a piece at Goodwill. And they say Season's Greetings. And they have little mushrooms on them. Which, if you follow online trends, mushrooms are definitely in again. So, yeah, those I'll be posting for Christmas. But now on to the grand finale. Okay, this is our grand finale. This was a set that I had been stalking for over a year from a place in Galesville called Refined. When I had seen this set originally, they were pricing it at $525, which, is clearly out of my budget. I wasn't going to be able to pay that. But it is a gorgeous, gorgeous set, and I was just drooling over it. And every time we went to that area and we went in there, I would look at it and just stare at it and fawn over it. And in April, I was scrolling through their Facebook, and realized that they had listed it for $150. So over the time that I had been watching it, actually I want to say I'd been stalking it for about 2 years, and no one had purchased it. So over that time, they significantly dropped the price to $150. So when that happened, I reached out to the shop owner because I couldn't get down there right away, and I said, hey, you know, I would really love to purchase this set. Is there a way I can kind of hold this, or you can hold this for me? And so she did, so that was great. And I ran and got it earlier this month. So what this is a Fenton lemonade or tea set. So it's Fenton glass. And it's just got this beautiful iridescence to the glass. If you can see there, yeah, kind of that rainbowy sheen on it with these blue, cobalt blue applied handles. And then each glass comes with its own little coaster, and the pitcher even came with a coaster as well. Just gorgeous. And I'm, you know, as you know, I'm a glass enthusiast, and there is absolutely no damage to any of these at all. So I was very, very excited to finally own this set. This set is from the 1920s, and I didn't even realize this until I brought it home. When I took a picture and sent it to my glass group that I'm a part of, everyone was asking me, does it glow? And it hadn't even crossed my mind to check that, because you've seen in previous videos that I've shown you that I also collect uranium glass. So as soon as I got it home and unpacked it and put it in the case, I got out my little UV flashlight, and let me show you. Ta-da! Look at that, you guys. It lights up like Christmas morning. I mean, my gosh, how exciting is that? So now I own a Fenton glass, 1920s Fenton glass lemonade set that is uranium glass. I cannot tell you how excited I was when I found out that it's uranium, because that just adds more value to me. I am so excited. And so you'll see sets like this online. Full sets like this, people are asking $500, $600. If I was to resell this and piece it out, I could probably make more than that. But this is not for sale, guys. Sorry to say. This is staying with me. I cannot believe the deal I got on this. I'm not really sure why they lowered the price so significantly. Probably because they had been holding on to it for so long and no one had bought it. But yeah, no damage on that at all. The only piece I think I may be missing is a top for that pitcher, because I've seen some where the pitcher has a top to it. And then maybe one additional glass would go with the set to make it an even 6 glasses, but I don't even really have room for a 6th glass in here anyway, so I am fine with that. So yeah, that is super cool. I was so excited to show you guys this. Yeah, and be sure to stay tuned and just stay with me for the next video. I'm hoping to hear back from that artist of that painting, and we'll see what the value is there. So thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I'm going to go ahead and post the solds for the month of April, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.